Good morning. This is Asake Online. In today's episode, we're meeting yet another stud breeder, Dr. Themba Dlodlo, who breeds Brahman cattle. Good morning, Dr. Dlodlo.
Good morning.
All farmers, when you talk about cattle breeding, Brahman breed seems to be a household name, for farmers to actually have. What attracted you maybe to actually breeding Brahman cattle?
Now, I first saw this Brahman cattle along the Kweru Road around Somabula area. When you drive there through Harare back, you see all these nice cattle. So I felt that perhaps if I go into cattle, these are the cattle that I'll look for. And I understood that they grow fast. The beef cattle, also they are the beef cattle that is a better milk production than the other breeds. And the milk production is good for the calves so that they grow faster. Yeah.
Are you breeding both for meat or for milk?
No, just for beef. Breeding, these are beef animals.
And how long have you been breeding Brahman?
I bought my first cows in 1983. So you can calculate how long that has been. I think it's over 30 years or what.
And looking at that, what is special or unique about Brahman breed of cattle?
There's nothing special. It's just it was a new breed for me. I grew up in the rural areas as a young boy, but I'd never seen such cattle. And when I saw them for the first time, they fascinated me. And then I went to an auction in Harare to see at a sale and to see those cattle. And I found them, really those were kept not in a rural setup, but in a farming setup, really commercial farming setup. They were in good condition. So I thought I should buy them when I start my farming. But I'd always seen them around Somabula area there. When you drive between Bulawayo and Kwelu, you'll see them there all the time, the white-humped animals. So they fascinated me. That's when I bought them.
You talk of being fascinated by these animals, and I'm keen to even understand further. What characteristics would you say are in Brahman that has made it an important, breed for you to actually keep?
Yeah, they are bigger animals than the cattle that I normally was accustomed to. So they fascinated me in that way. I went to a farmer near Harare and looked at his calves. When he told me the age of his calves, I could see that these animals have good growth. Because if he says this is a 4-month-old calf, I was looking at it from a rural point of view. I know the cattle that we used to have in the rural areas. I could see that these animals grow faster than the other breeds.
Looking at at the growth and how do these animals actually perform in terms of, maybe resistant to diseases, in terms of even calving, what other characteristics can you tell us about?
Like any other breed, you have sometimes calving difficulties, but you should train your staff to be able to handle that. So any breed has those problems. It's not only the European breeds, even the indigenous breeds, that we have had for centuries, they do have also calving difficulties.
I note that you are breeding mostly bulls, of Brahman. There must be really something special about, this type of breed. I know that you sold one of your bulls, I think it was 24,000 US dollars.
Yes.
What's the secret there?
No, it's the genetics. When people know that this bull comes from a sire, that means the grandfather or the father who has produced outstanding calves, those calves that went on to sell very well, because it's about selling. We produce bulls in order to sell them. So it's about that. So I bought semen from the United States, from a famous bull from there. So I used that bull to produce my current stock. So when it first came here, the progeny that I got first time from that bull, that is one of those bulls I sold for 24,000. But I still have some of that semen. Occasionally I use it so that I continue to have bulls with those characteristics.
Well, what are the tips that you could give farmers who would be interested in actually breeding, Brahman?
No, they should first be love farming cattle. And then it's not only Brahmins that are good beef cattle, there are other breeds. So one should actually first go around, find out what the advantages of each breed over other breeds, the advantages are. So it's not like you see you see a stud breed, stud-bred cattle, and you say, okay, because they are stud, let me buy them. You should actually first understand whether they fit what you want.
But I note your background, Dr. Dlodlo, is you're not a farmer, you're not even trained in farming, you are more of an academic. Would you then say it has been just passion alone that has made you a successful breeder?
Oh, well, I always wanted to have cattle. I grew up in the rural areas up to the age of, say, 8. So I had already known how to look after cattle. We would go out with the older boys to fetch cattle and to milk them and so forth. So I always, and my father had lots of cattle. So I always wanted to have cattle. But I didn't know anything about Brahmans until I went to a cattle sale in Harare when we came back in the early 80s. So I went to a cattle sale. I could see that these animals have better growth compared to the rural animals that we used to have. But I didn't know then that our rural animals, because we milked them, so the calves didn't grow well. In the setup that I saw, the cows were not milked, so the calf had all the milk from the mother, so they grew fast. So because of that fast growth that I saw then, I decided these are the animals I'm going to have. But later on I discovered that if you don't milk the mothers and you let the calf just suckle all the milk from the mother, they will also grow even if they are rural animals. Yeah. The other thing with rural animals, there's a lot of inbreeding, meaning that a bull will mate its sisters or half sisters or aunts and so forth. So inbreeding results in poor animal condition.
And what's the solution, to actually the inbreeding that you talk about, that farmers could actually, implement, to improve maybe their head, as it were?
Inbreeding means you shouldn't use a bull on its sisters or its aunts. So that is why it is important every, let's say, 5-6 years to bring in new blood. You have to buy a bull from another farmer who is not breeding from the same bulls that you have. So that's why sometimes we buy semen from South Africa, from America, in order to bring in new blood into the cattle we have. Because if you inbreed, you will see it that the condition of your animals is not as good as it should be.
And what kind of challenges do you encounter? Have you encountered in this one in breeding the Brahmins and?
No, I don't think there are any challenges. I think there are rules that you must follow. I'm a stud breeder, so there are certain rules that we follow in our breeding. We record the information about every animal. Every animal has an ID to enable us to know its origin, to enable us to know also the breeding, who was the grandfather, who was the great-grandfather, and so forth. Because some of these bulls we buy semen from abroad so that we put in new blood into our cattle. Because if we breed with our own bulls for a period, say, of 5-6 years, you will notice that there are some weaknesses that follow. You have maybe reduction of milk, reduction of growth, and so forth. So you want to avoid that by putting in new blood. That means we have to buy bulls from other people. I like buying bulls from South Africa or America. But nowadays you don't have to buy the whole bull. You buy semen and use that semen. I think I've not bought a bull from anyone for the last 15 years because I use semen, and from that semen I get bulls, new bulls, meaning new bloodlines from the semen I get from America, from South Africa, from Australia.
You talk about buying in semen. How affordable is this? And how easy is it to in fact get?
No, it's very affordable. You buy a straw depending on the bull and depending on the owner of the bull. He might want to say, I want $50 for a straw, or he might say, I want 20, depending on the bull. If the bull is famous and maybe he gets a lot of customers, they will raise the price a little bit. Once they see that people are now getting tired, you will reduce the price of the semen. It's better to buy bull semen than to buy a live bull.
Why?
Because if there are problems with the bull, you have to sell them. It's to sell the bull or slaughter. But with semen, you can use various bulls. You can buy 10 straws for one bull, 15 straws from another. Put to your cows different bulls using semen. But semen is not very accurate. You need to maybe, on average, you need to, from 10 straws, you might get 8 calves, 7 calves. Or 6. You can't get from 10 straws, get 10 calves. Some people who understand this very well, maybe they might do that. But our experience is that some animals conceive first straw. Some they need second straw. Some will definitely need a bull rather than the straw, because if they miss 3 times, when you inseminate 3 times and they are not pregnant, so you rather use a bull.
What has worked for you? Have you been using bulls, or you've actually used artificial insemination?
I use both.
And what has been more favorable or more successful for you?
No, it is the same actually. We use semen usually when we see that the bulls that we have are related to the cows and heifers. If the relationship is close, say 3 generations, 2 generations, that is too close. If it is 5 generations away, then you can use a bull.
In selecting the semen that you buy, what considerations do you usually put in mind before you buy it, or in terms of like, do you look for particular characteristics in the semen that you'll be buying?
No, you look at the bull. You look at bull. What do you want from this bull that it can give you when you use it with your cows? You look at the bull, the beef, because they are beef animals. They have beef. It is a bull masculine. It doesn't have to serve twice. Maybe you need to serve once. So, and usually it should be a bull that you also feel you can use in future, because if you use it, say over a 3-4 year period, it will have relatives. It will have its calves coming now as heifers. So inbreeding is not allowed. So what you do is you introduce another bull. You have to introduce another bull, but the best way to do is to buy semen, because the bulls that you buy overseas are very expensive, and you might buy a bull, very expensive bull, and then it doesn't perform very well for you. It's difficult to stop and to recover your investment, so you sell it maybe for slaughter or to commercial farmers. So that's why some of us prefer to use semen, because if I look at the first progeny of the bull semen, the best progeny, if I think that they are not suitable for me, I stop. So I haven't lost as much money as if it were a bull that I was using, because bulls are expensive.
And you breed it of bulls. What do you do with it? Where's your market? Do you sell them? Who do you sell them to? And what happens to the heifers that you?
No, we sell our bulls locally, and then the older cows we send for slaughter. You know, we have calves that we keep up to the 12 years, 15 years, but generally by about 10 years, some of the cows we take out. But some of our best cows, those that calve every year, and they produce bulls that we can sell very well, so we keep them a bit longer. And so we, on the farms, isn't it, you are limited. You can't have as many cattle as you want. It depends on the amount of land you have. So sometimes you have to decide to remove the older cows. Sometimes you say, okay, this year I will sell most of my heifers, because these cows I have are doing well. There's none of them that I want to move out. So that means the heifers that are coming in, you have an opportunity to sell heifers to other breeders.
And how long could you keep your heifers and your bulls before you actually either sell them or
The very good ones we keep. We keep some heifers. They grow to be cows and calve Some give you 10 calves over a period. So we keep those, and they have good characteristics. They are mothers to bulls that sell very well. You know, we have a national bull sale where we send our cattle there for sale. So that's where you can see, if you select your best bulls and send them there, you will always notice that each year the bull calves of certain group of cows do better than others. So we try and keep those cows to be useful for us for a number of years. But if some cows are not performing very well, we sell them quickly. After they've given us maybe 3 or 4 cows, we can see that this cow won't give us anything better. So we select. Selection is the rule.